Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
This is Ed Cohen in San Diego, California, and today is the 13th of October, sunny day here, around 10 a.m. Our special guests today are in Texas, in Houston, Thrive HR Consulting. Let's welcome Jason. Hello, Jason, and Ray. Hi, Ray.
Hello, Ed. How are you?
Yeah, just great. Thanks for being on this talk show.
Yeah, hello, Ed.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I love your background there, Jason. Are you in a band?
I am not in a band. I, aspire someday to be, but I'm a shy musician. So when you're a shy musician, it's hard to get up in front of people and play. So that's probably never going to happen. But I like to play for my own enjoyment at this point, I guess.
Well, your own therapy. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. So Ray, what do you do for kicks here?
I really enjoy just being outside. I love mountain biking and cycling and seeing the world at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. So that's one of my passions.
Now you're not in Houston.
No, I'm based in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, great. And what part of Denver?
Where the old airport used to be, the old Stapleton Airport.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, well, now it is a planned community, and so we have a house on one of the old runways, and it's just a really nice area, and easy to find, walking paths, bike paths, lots of parks. So it's it's not a bad place to hang out.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a deep dive for about 60 seconds. Guys, so go to Jason first. To just introduce for our audience your company.
Well, we're Thrive HR Consulting, and we started over a year ago, right during the middle of the pandemic, which seems like a funny time to start a company. Why would you want to do it then? But Ray and I started talking, and we knew that there was probably some opportunities based upon what was happening in the hiring marketplace and in just the overall labor marketplace, that we could come in and work on in a fractional basis in terms of coming in and helping out companies in a very small bite-sized piece of work. Or if you needed a CHRO for a small period of time, if you needed a director of comp and ben for a small period of time, you needed us to do mergers and acquisitions for just one acquisition that you're going through, and then didn't need us again, you could tell us to take a hike and then invite us back in. And so and you wanted us to do it all remotely, we could do that. We'd be an extension of your team, working when you wanted us to work and when you didn't want us to work. And we would do that on a project-based pricing fee, so that we would tell you exactly how much it was going to cost you, which HR departments really, really liked, because they had predictability and they could budget whether they could afford the project or not. And we put that all together, and it turned out to be, as we thought it would be, it turned out to be a really successful model that people really liked and have enjoyed. And Ray and I have a lot of credibility and a lot of great relationships in the HR market for people having known and worked with us for such a long time. And that has added a lot of really great value to Thrive. And we've just been really blessed to have customers and clients and people who have been interested in our work. And it's just been a tremendous opportunity.
Thank you. Ray?
Yeah, and I think the key for us is, because of Jason and my experience, working, at inside organizations, we've seen the majority of these problems already, and we can get to a solution very quickly for a client, and that really makes a big difference, because we don't have to study something for 4 weeks before we can come back to you with a recommendation. I mean, we can after an hour-long meeting, we can kind of figure out, okay, here's where you're having some problems, and we can go back in and try to help you solve them quickly. And I think that's been really, really positive. And for us, it's really about solving, and getting things done that for whatever reason the current team isn't able to do. And we've been able to go in and solve things quickly, have a lot of fast turnaround times on projects, and just get stuff done. I mean, and I think clients really like that. We've had real success, and we've got some fractional clients. We have a logistics company that we're working with here in Denver. We have a startup in Boston that we're their HR team. And then we've got large organizations that we're working with. So, and we've got a really good team behind us that's very, very dedicated. So we're really, really happy that, that we've been able to find, a good team and keep them busy, and as well as keeping Jason and myself busy.
So the fractional,
Yay.
yeah. So the fractional word, that's interesting. It's been around a long time. So in the old days, it used to be called outsourcing, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just part-time, specific, start and stop, which is adjustable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. And I think, the word fractional is basically used because I think we're trying to imply something just a little bit different, meaning, hey, we're happy to be part of your team for a small piece of time during the year, or small chunks of time during the year. So turn us on, turn us off. We can be there when you need us to be, and we can be there when we don't need to be. So that's what we want to imply, is that we're sort of always ready in the background, waiting for you when you need us or you don't.
This
That's
is really
right.
interesting. So, tell me, Ray, what a project that you're particularly in love with today? What
Yeah.
is happening right now?
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. One of our fractional clients here, a logistics company here in Denver. There are about 20 employees. Whenever they need HR help, they call us. So we've been able to help them, put in an employee handbook end to end. We've been able to help them document all of their sales compensation plans for the company. Again, and when we talked to the owner says, well, why do I need to do this? Well, I said, well, do you really want to pay 10% of revenue to the salesperson forever, or do you want to have the flexibility to change the plan year over year? And he said, well, yeah, I want to have that flexibility. Well, then we need to document it. The other thing we're doing is the last couple of days I went in and we did an employee opinion survey where I sat down with employees to say, hey, what's working? What are things that are why do you like to work here? What's the secret sauce of the company? What are things that we may need to stop and do better? And it was just a great conversation. I met with all the employees, and then I'm going to be putting all that information together and providing it to the leadership team so they can actually digest it, and then go back to the employees and say, hey, we heard you. These are things we're going to do differently. These are things we're going to continue to do because you said you like it. So that's the kind of thing that we do, and it's very impactful for an organization. And talk about getting employee engagement, which leads to retention. Up and to the right. That's exactly what it does. And
That's spot on, right? So were the employees? Well, they probably were, but I'm asking for just more clarification. That they would, because you were an outsider, they could talk with you a little bit more openly, perhaps.
Yeah, and plus we've been working with them for about 9 months now. So they've seen me in the office, they've seen me, in meetings, tour their warehouse, help them staff, hire people. We've even done financial awareness training for the employees, and said, to basically help them understand their benefits, understand their 401k, and help them plan for the future and find ways to save money. You know, we did a whole hour-long session on financial awareness and where not to spend your money and how to save money, just to have an emergency fund. And again, these folks are drivers, warehouse people, operations people that really want to have a better life for themselves and their families. And we're helping them, kind of get started, down that direction, which is kind of cool.
So I see here in some notes that you're involved in Austin and Silicon Valley, and you mentioned Boston. I'm originally from Boston, so I remembered you said that. So there's people where you find through referral or just network on LinkedIn like I do.
In terms of for new clients, is that your question? Oh yeah, I think LinkedIn has been a great source of clients for us. Also, just we've had a great referral basis. We have a lot of great friends and colleagues that we've worked with in HR over the years, and they've been really great about referring business to us and having clients take us on as a new consulting firm. So we've seen a lot of uptick from that. And then we spend a lot of time doing a lot of PR and marketing at a very strategic level. And so that's helped out a lot too.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So this wasn't anything you learned in school. It's like through grit and determination and getting in the middle of things and figuring it out.
It really has been. I mean, for us, having cushy corporate jobs is really nice because you always get a paycheck every 2 weeks and you got benefits and you're covered. But going out and being an entrepreneur for us was kind of a leap of faith, and we basically said, hey, we think we can do we think we can do things better than others. We think we can be better consultants than other large firms, and do good work, save clients money, and make this a business. And that's really, kind of how we have done this. And it is we are helping clients out. We're like Jason said, we're doing things for the our profession. So we do a lot of YouTube work. We're members of the kind of a national HR merger and acquisitions team. Jason leads an Austin group. I lead a Denver group. So we're really trying to give back to the profession, along with working on cool projects.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been, really a fun, situation. One of the things that keeps people from, going off and being able to be a consultant and doing your own thing is health benefits. I mean, that's a huge inhibitor. So most people aren't able to break out and say, hey, I'm going to do my own thing, because health benefits are essentially, unaffordable. So, Ray and I, from the very beginning, put our heads together and said, how are we going to be able to do this? And how are we going to have health insurance for ourselves and our family and people that come and work with us? We put that in very quickly so that we could get that established and have people that had really great skills and be able to have health insurance. And so, when we started out doing this, I had a lot of people that when they would ask me how we were doing it and what we were doing, I would explain it to them. And they would say something really curious to me. They would say, wow, you're really taking this seriously. Like, you're really putting a lot of effort into this. And it seemed odd to me that people would say something like that, because if you're going to go out and you're going to do something and you're going to try to make something successful, this, Ed, you're going to put as much time and effort as you can in to make it successful. Otherwise, you wouldn't spend any time on it. It would just be a waste of time. So I think that, what we're showing, others and ourselves is you put the time and the effort in and you work hard, and, things will happen, and things, for the most part, will be pretty positive.
Thank you. Hi, this is Ed, and I thank you for tuning in to Global TV Talk Show, a unit on globalbusinessnews.net. We broadcast to the world, as you know by now. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that our programs are advertising supported. We're grateful for co-sponsors, advertisers. They have a marketing budget coupled with a strong desire to be associated with our top quality program. And of course, I'm grateful. Thank you. So for the next few minutes, you're going to see some commercials. It's mostly very low key, and our prices are very, very reasonable. Our exposure for the advertisers go 12 months and beyond. Some of our advertisers have been with us since March, April of 2020. And Google Analytics has tracked over 125,000 what they call audience page views, which means you looking at this page, that's a page view. Now, if you happen to go to one of our other shows or to our radio broadcasts or to our newspaper or magazine, those become additional page views as measured by Google Analytics. And so when they say 125,000 since spring of 2020 up through Labor Day, a month ago, that's pretty good numbers. And the past 30 days, Google Analytics has measured just under 6,000 audience page views. And that, according to them, is a 42% increase in audience participation over the month of August. So thank you very much. Well, here's our advertisers, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes or so, and we'll proceed with this interesting conversation. Thank you.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
And by airs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at airs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
Hi, I'm Sergey Gorbatov.
I'm Angela Lane.
Together we are researchers, writers and practitioners in the field of human resources.
And we've also been multi-country, multi-assignment career expats.
We owe our professional development and growth to a very large extent to the international assignment opportunities that we have had.
But in a world where distributed work may become the norm, we also want to understand what happened to the nature, duration, and purpose of international assignments.
Together with our colleague, Julian Dalzell from the University of South Carolina, we're undertaking a study on the future of expatriation.
And we'd value your contribution. You can participate in this important study by completing a simple 10-minute questionnaire.
Access the questionnaire by typing in your browser tinyurl.com/expert study. That's tinyurl.com/expert study. You can also find the link here on Ed's website next to this video.
Thank you for joining us in this study. In return for your contribution, we'll provide you with a copy of our research.
And of course, you'll be invited to an exclusive webinar hosted by Ed, where we will share our findings right here on Global Business News.
And so please go to tinyurl.com/expat study. Take the survey so that we can better understand the future of expatriation.
Now, I'm looking at these notes here, and what's really interesting to me is that most of this is U.S. It's not international.
Yeah, I mean, that's been where we're at, but that's not necessarily where we're going to finish. So I think, Bray and I have worked internationally our whole careers, all across the world. So as those opportunities come up, we'll be ready to support people international as well.
So the trade agreement with Mexico and Canada, U.S., that's surfaced again. I'm sure you know. And it seems to have a lot of power behind it right now, especially with all of a sudden the borders are going to open. And so vacation travel and business travel will come roaring back pretty quick, I think. So that means that that merger with that Canadian railroad with Kansas City Southern, that was like, they knew what was happening, and boy, they jumped right in. And so the whole grid is with the Biden plan for infrastructure and all that spend. It just seems like international, at least north and south of us, is just absolutely going to skyrocket. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're correct. I mean, I think the economy, once there's more investment in infrastructure, will take off. And like Jason said, I mean, we've done transactions in Latin America, we've done transactions in Canada,
Milan.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots in Israel.
Yeah, exactly. We've done it globally, and we really think that as the economy starts to come back a little bit more post-COVID, we'll get into a much more normal type of environment. But we've also even shared this with our network that that deals are still getting done, even with COVID. And what we actually found out is in the deals that we worked on, that there was a whole lot more executive involvement at the CEO and COO level because they weren't traveling and they weren't, going cross country or cross global, for meetings. They were at home, on Zoom meetings, and guess what? Now they could get more involved in M&A transactions, and guess what? They're in the meetings. So, so we actually saw an uptick in more involvement at the senior levels
Good point.
on transactions because they got time, and guess what? They're not hosting, investors. Now they can spend time actually working with their team on strategic deals, and which is a kind of an interesting change that we've seen during the pandemic.
So we're running out of time here, but we still have a few minutes of conversation. I'll invite you guys to come back. I'm really enjoying this. My primary business for 25 years was producing live training meetings, and through HR particularly, having to do with mobility, talent mobility. I produce a lot of meetings across the US with 350 meetings, plus Canada, Mexico, Brazil, Panama, and Europe. And then all that crashed on about March 1, 2020. And so we've had to reinvent into this. So we've done about 280 of these programs.
Congratulations, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's a great pivot.
Thank you. Well, I'm into concepts. I'm not really good at math or at which has found its way into my balance sheet too. But
I joined the club. Yeah, I know. I have math dyscalculia, so I get that.
So I took remedial algebra, but I did pretty good in geography. So and social science and stuff like that. And so that led to where I am in concepts and bringing people together and having conversations and then finding advertisers to fund it. And so I'm in the middle of all that. So I'd like to do more with you guys later and introduce you to some others that I know who I'm partnering with. We've done a series in Canada. Well, I'm here, but on Zoom in Canada, and bringing together corporate and services to discuss protocols of doing business on international assignment management from a Canadian perspective. Mm-hmm. And then we're just in the middle of launching a Mexican series similar. And it all ties in, of course, with this trade agreement.
Well, I think those are actually very useful. And I used to do a lot of those, some of the companies that I worked for. And you'll find, and obviously you're having these revolve around the trade agreement, but I think, as things come back post-COVID, like Ray mentioned, having ones where you give people information on how you work with folks in India or how you work with folks in Japan or how you work with folks in China, those are really, really valuable, and potentially you could do an additional series or set on those. Those are great to do. And people love those because when they do get the opportunity to interact culturally, Americans know more and they feel more comfortable.
Yeah, everybody feels more comfortable. And by the way, you make some friends. And so true. Whenever we get together and live again, it's going to be really a nice time. So let's get out of this show. Jason, tell us something really exciting that you got coming up.
Something really exciting that I have coming up. Boy, I'm not a good person about that because my wife has told me every time you ever get excited about something and we talk about it before it happens, it usually breaks apart into a million pieces. So I have learned that unless it's already happened, I am like a professional jinx. So I don't talk about anything until it's happened. So I'm sorry. I am punching. Ray, to you.
Yeah, and for me, I can tell you, we're actually, here in Colorado, my granddaughters have the next couple of days off, fall break. So we're taking them up to the mountains. So we're going up to Vail, Colorado, and
Yeah,
hanging out up in the
nine
mountains.
9,000 feet. I've been
Exactly.
there.
That is so weak. You went with the kids. It's
Yeah,
for the
I gotta
kids.
go with the kids, man. I
Oh.
gotta go with the kids. So we're going up there, and I'm gonna keep on working, but hopefully take advantage of the beautiful scenery and in the mountains and a little bit of snow, and get a little early taste of winter.
Yeah, you know what? If we were in the back of 2 years ago or so, we probably wouldn't do that because of the regimentation in
Yeah.
our work life, right?
Oh yeah, it's so
But now
true.
it's okay.
Now it's
Yes.
totally okay, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people have, because of what we've experienced over the last several, last 20, 24 months, have really appreciated their family much more, appreciated being able to work at home, uh, learn at home, exercise at home, everything at home. And we've heard that from a lot of our friends that, it's going to be a new world out there, and people really really are valuing their family a lot more, and the whole idea of going back into the office is going to be really, really tough to do.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that.
As we come to a close, let's take a couple of minutes and talk about women supposedly leaving the workforce. That's really not true. They're just leaving big company structures, right?
Well, I mean, go ahead, Jason.
I think that, I don't want to, I think it's always dangerous to get into, gender descriptions or say, hey, it's one gender over another. So for me, I'm more comfortable saying it's people that are making strategic decisions about their lives. And in instances, people are having to look at saying, hey, we spent the last 24 months in COVID at home. And do I really want to go back into the office that I really didn't like and I really wasn't fulfilled? And I have to have my kids at home and they're going to get picked up by a babysitter again, and they're going to let themselves in again and start their homework by themselves again, or whatever it is. And so that wasn't a really happy place for me. Is there a way that I can, do a different job at home? Can I be more entrepreneurial and work for myself and get more fulfillment and enjoy life the way I really want to enjoy life? And I think that's really what everybody's doing, whether it's men or women. They're making changes that are more reflective of what they want personally and what's going to make them happier, down the road. So I think that's really what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the other part of that too, Edwin, is like Jason said, people are choosing, if a company is forcing them to go back into the office, they're basically saying, you know what, that's not going to work for me. I'm out. I can, I haven't spent anything for the last 24 months because I've been locked down. Guess what? My investment accounts look pretty good. I can probably hang out, with my family for the next 3 or 4 months and not skip a beat. And by the way, whenever I want to get back into the workforce, there's probably 30 or 40, jobs out there for my skill set. And guess what? They're all remote.
Yeah, they're all remote. Exactly. And they don't have there's not enough paper out on the street to be able to hire for them. So this is, and I know you had our good friend Steve Cadigan on a few weeks ago. And we know Steve really, really well. In fact, Ray used to work with Steve and I went to graduate school with Steve. So one of the things that, we see is that people are just making, different life choices. And the fact that we have this huge gap in the labor market of people making different decisions, and the fact that the employee, for really the first time, is in charge of what they're going to do with their career and really forcing the hand of the employer for the first time ever, is making companies very nervous about the fact that, gosh, the employees really get to call shots. So it's a different paradigm altogether.
Ray Ramirez, Jason Walker, thanks for being my guest on Global TV Talk Show. I want you to come back soon, before Christmas, if possible. And we could,
for me.
maybe we can get Steve Cadigan to give us an update on Workquake and what's really happening out there from his view.
Workquake. We'll plug Steve.
Yeah,
Good. It's a good Christmas gift or Hanukkah gift. Whatever
It is.
Yeah, great. All right, ciao. Have a good one.
All right, ciao. We'll see you later.
Ciao. Take care. Thanks, everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.